Today,
Walaikum.
I will
Ji,
discuss about a very important topic.
bilkul.
We will discuss with ChatGPT and how to identify and avoid toxic positivity. So,
That's
everyone, today I am going to discuss an important topic: how to identify and avoid toxic positivity. Positivity is good, but because it helps us stay hopeful and motivated. But sometimes people force happiness so much that real emotions like sadness, stress, anger, or disappointment are ignored. This is called toxic positivity. It can make people feel unheard, guilty, or emotionally weak for having normal feelings. In this discussion, we will learn how to recognize toxic positivity, understand its effects, and explore healthy ways to support ourselves and others emotionally. So, my first question is, what is toxic positivity?
that's a great introduction. So, toxic positivity is when people dismiss real difficult emotions by forcing a constant sense of happiness or optimism. Instead of allowing someone to express sadness or frustration, it pushes them to just stay positive, which can invalidate their experience. In this discussion, we'll look at how to notice when this is happening, why it's harmful, and how we can encourage emotional authenticity alongside positive thinking.
How is healthy positivity different from toxic positivity?
That's a really important distinction. Healthy positivity doesn't deny or dismiss negative emotions. Instead, it acknowledges them and still encourages hope or resilience. So it says, I see you're struggling, and that's okay, and I believe you can get through this. In contrast, toxic positivity just shuts down real feelings, pushing a surface level happiness that leaves people feeling misunderstood. Healthy positivity is about balance, validating pain, but still holding space for growth.
Why do some people ignore negative emotions?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people might ignore or downplay negative emotions because they feel uncomfortable, or maybe they fear being seen as negative. Sometimes it's a defense mechanism. They push those feelings away to keep themselves or others from feeling down. But the problem is when we ignore them, we don't process them. And that can lead to bigger issues like stress, burnout, or feeling isolated.
Can toxic positivity affect mental health?
Absolutely. Toxic positivity can really harm mental health because it invalidates real struggles. When people feel like they have to stay positive all the time, they often don't reach out for help, and they can feel isolated or shamed for having normal emotions. Over time, this can increase anxiety, depression, and a sense of disconnection, which is why it's so important to allow space for all emotions.
What are common examples of toxic positivity statements?
Yeah, so some common examples would be things like just stay positive, or look on the bright side, or even everything happens for a reason. These might seem helpful at first, but they can dismiss someone's real pain. They might hear things like it could be worse, or don't worry, be happy, which can make them feel guilty for having those real emotions.
Why is it important to express real emotions?
Yeah, expressing real emotions is crucial because it helps us process what we're going through, and it keeps us connected to ourselves and others. When we acknowledge sadness, frustration, or fear, we give ourselves permission to heal, and we create space for real support. It reduces shame, strengthens trust, and ultimately it's what helps us build resilience and well-being.
How can social media promote toxic positivity?
Yeah, social media can really amplify because it often highlights these perfect curated moments. People share success, happiness, and positivity all the time, and that can create this unspoken pressure to always appear upbeat. If we're struggling, we might feel like we can't be authentic, and instead of processing emotions, we just try to keep up appearances, which fuels that toxic positivity cycle.
What does emotional validation mean?
Yeah, yeah, emotional validation is basically recognizing and accepting someone's feelings without judgment. It means saying, I see that you're sad, I hear you, and your feelings are real. When we validate emotions, we make people feel seen and heard, which can soothe them, help them process their feelings, and build trust in the relationship.
How can we support someone without dismissing their feelings?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can support someone by first listening fully, without interrupting, jump into solutions. Acknowledge their emotion by saying something like, I can see how hard this is for you, or your feelings are valid. Then ask what they need, whether it's just to be heard or if they'd like some help or perspective. By being present and empathetic, you allow them to feel safe in expressing themselves.
Why do people say just stay positive during difficult times?
Yeah, often people say that because they genuinely want to offer comfort, even if they don't know what else to say. They might be uncomfortable with negative emotions or just not realize the harm in dismissing them. Sometimes it's a simple attempt to stay optimistic, but it can come from a place of uncertainty rather than real understanding.
Can toxic positivity damage relationships?
Yeah, it really can. When one person keeps brushing off the other's real feelings, it can create distance and make the person who's struggling feel isolated or misunderstood. Over time, that lack of emotional honesty can erode trust, making it harder for both people to feel safe and connected in a relationship.
How can students experience toxic positivity in daily life?
Yeah, students can really feel it in daily life, especially with pressure to succeed. They might hear things like just stay positive, everything will work out, even when they're overwhelmed with exams, anxiety, or social challenges. That can make them feel like they can't talk about their real stress or ask for help, which just increases the pressure and isolation.
What are the signs that someone is hiding their emotions?
Yeah, so some signs might be things like sudden withdrawal, becoming unusually quiet, avoiding certain conversations, or even overcompensating with forced cheerfulness. They might brush off concerns with a quick, I'm fine, even when they're clearly not. So if you notice a change in behavior or lack of openness, it might be a sign they're hiding their true feelings.
Why is crying sometimes healthy?
Yeah, crying can be really healthy because it's a natural way to release built up emotion. It helps your body and mind process stress, sadness, or even relief. After a good cry, people often feel a sense of calm or clarity, and it reminds us that emotions are meant to be felt, not bottled up.
Okay. How can we create emotionally supportive environments?
Yeah, creating an emotionally supportive environment starts with active listening, really paying attention without rushing to fix things. It also means being open, non judgmental, and validating each person's experience. Encouraging open communication, showing empathy, and being consistent in your support helps people feel safe, accepted, and understood.
What role does empathy play in avoiding toxic positivity?
Yeah, empathy is really at the heart of avoiding toxic positivity. When we practice empathy, we genuinely try to understand and feel what the other person is going through without jumping to a quick fix or forcing a silver lining. That way, we create space for real emotions and we help others feel heard and supported without minimizing their experience.
Can optimism still be helpful without becoming toxic?
Absolutely. Optimism can be really helpful when it's balanced with realism. It's about acknowledging difficulties, but also holding on to hope. So you can say, I know this is hard and I'm here for you, and I believe we'll get through this. That way, optimism offers hope, but it doesn't dismiss real pain or immediate challenges.
How can we balance positivity with honesty?
Yeah, that balance is really key. You can be honest about the struggle by saying, I know this is really tough right now, and then gently introduce hope by adding, and I believe you have the strength to get through it. In that way, you stay grounded in reality, but you also offer kindness, encouragement, and a sense of partnership in facing the difficulty.
What lessons can we learn from accepting all emotions?
Yeah, when we accept all emotions, we learn to be more compassionate with ourselves and others. We recognize that every feeling has a place and can teach us something, whether it's about our needs, our boundaries, or what we value. This acceptance helps us build resilience, deepen relationships, and live more authentically, knowing we don't have to push away what we feel.
Okay, in conclusion, positivity is valuable, but forcing happiness all the time is not healthy. Everyone experiences difficult emotions, and that is a natural part of life. Instead of ignoring pain, we should learn to accept feelings with understanding and empathy. By identifying and avoiding toxic positivity, we can build stronger relationships, improve emotional health, and create a more supportive society where people feel safe expressing themselves honestly. Thank you very much for listening. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.